SRIOV. They've got SRIOV. They're bringing SRIOV in Q4, but also everything's being updated on GitHub. This is Intel Arc Pro. They're building the battle matrix. We're going to learn about the battle matrix, which seems kind of odd. But 16 gigabytes and a 70-watt card. This one?
It's that one.
Is the 48 gig, but it's actually 2 GPUs on one card. So it's two 24 gig GPUs on one card. 24 gig on a single card. This is the B60?
Yep.
And that's the B50.
Yep.
So Intel is heading in exactly the direction we all wished that they would when the A770 launched and said, oh wow, this is actually a really good card and does a lot of really cool stuff. We need to empower things in the Linux ecosystem. But they're also pivoting in the AI direction. And I have here with me...
I'm Chi. I manage discrete GPUs at Intel.
And we're going to talk about it. So let's dive in. Travel expenses for Computex paid for by MSI. MSI has a new line of QB NUCs with enterprise and business class features and enterprise and business class warranties, designed for Windows 11 Pro, based around the Core Ultra 9 288V or the Core Ultra 7 285V. 48 TOPS, 32 gigabytes of LPDDR5, Arc Graphics 140V. There's a lot to like about these mini PCs, especially the business class aspect. So be sure to check out my coverage of that. And now on with the rest of the video.
So we've got a bunch of partner cards here. And what we're doing differently than the rest of the ecosystem is this ecosystem is so vibrant and changing so fast. There are people asking for big cards, small cards, lots of cards, fewer cards.
cards that don't require subscriptions.
There we go. All the stuff. So we've decided to just turn on all the switches, turn everything on. You got your workstation drivers. You've got your SRIOV coming later this year. You've got manageability features. You've got cards with 2 GPUs, passive cards, active cards, axial, radial, all the variations, because the ecosystem is just growing so fast and we can't keep up. And so we're letting our partners, the growing partner ecosystem, build out and service all these different use cases for us.
Now, the thing that's exciting for me is that we've followed the bring up of, the A series cards. The GitHub repository for GPU drivers, merging in XE graphics and the support ecosystem, everything that's there has been extremely well handled in my opinion. And from the roadmap, we were chatting a little bit earlier, it sounds like everything's going to follow that same sort of trajectory, which is great in terms of Linux integration and kernel integration and good stewards of the open source angle of it, but now also inferencing and client stuff. So tell me more about that.
Yeah, so Intel's always been a friend of open source. We work really hard in making sure that the open source drivers are upstreamed. And this is going to be a journey which we're just embarking on. And this journey we're calling internally Project Battle Matrix. And this we're trying to make sure that we're delivering a complete solution that is eventually open sourced as much as possible. And it comes with a full containerized AI optimized software stack, as well as systems that have been validated with that software stack.
So containerization, it just means that as I as lowly developer, sit down at my Battle Matrix workstation, which in this case we have Xeon W3495 and 3475X systems that have 4 GPUs in them, and they're doing everything over PCIe, which is a lot of fun. But as a lowly developer, I sit down at such a workstation and I do my coding and I do all my other stuff. And because it is a containerized workload, when I deploy that to the cloud or whatever other AI infrastructure my company has bought, those containers will work properly, or at least that's the promise from Intel.
Exactly. Intel has so many different components that we deliver in so many different technologies, including OneAPI, IPEX, Intel Python extensions.
OpenVINO.
OpenVINO, exactly. And of course our driver stack, that we have to make sure that it's easy for developers to just get the whole kit all at once, not have to worry about whether you have the right kernel version or the right Python version or this and that. Combine them all together and make it easy for developers to work with our systems.
Now, some of the demos here were incredibly impressive. One of them, you guys are actually debugging your Lunar Lake platform. There was some kind of a video software driver debug. Yep. And so somebody put together a bunch of agents, one agent to parse the logs and like add debugging symbols or whatever, and another agent to go and figure out what those things meant, and another one to go and tweak the code. And then the thing was just sort of self-correcting code. Like we have self-improving, it's not self-improving AI, that's a milestone, but it is self-improving like code, and like it's an incredibly impressive demo because it's like, oh yeah, this is doing really high level developer stuff that a junior level developer could learn from.
Yeah, we're not quite in the like the robotic Terminator future yet, but we're trying to make the world better and make it easier for even junior developers to be very productive with our tool set. The Lunar Lake demo, where we fixed the software or the software decoder, is an example where you can take days of engineering work down to hours. And I think over 20% of our software engineering is already AI enhanced today at Intel.
Now walk me through some of the other demos for Battle Matrix, because you also have retrieval augmented generation that makes things a little easier from a developer's perspective, and you also have some other demos where you can immediately use 4 GPUs. And the important thing to understand is that this is happening over PCIe Gen 5, 32 gigabytes per second in a bidirectional configuration, and you don't need any kind of special connectivity or anything like that, but you're able to split models and run multiple layers on different GPUs and still get pretty reasonable performance out of the system.
Yeah, so in engineering, especially at Intel, you're working with lots of different documentation, whether it's what we call an internal architecture B-spec or data sheets of different chips. And to be able to combine all of those together makes it a lot easier for engineers to not have to search and compare different data sheets with different references and things like that. And that is all what we call context in AI, right? So the context is a short-term memory of an AI mind. And so you need to have enough GPUs just to store all that context, to store enough of the documentation so that when the answers are generated, whether it's code generation or debugging, that it has all the right information in short-term memory to create the right answers for you.
So in this configuration with the 4 GPU Battle Matrix, up to 8 are supported, I think.
Yep.
But in the 4, we've got 192 gigabytes of VRAM that we're working with. That's a lot of VRAM for working on models or just to have in your own personal workstation. But cost, we don't have final cost, but ballpark, it's something like $300-ish for this one. 16 gigabytes. This is really popular on the forum for like home labbers and doing that kind of thing, because it's like, oh, you can just run a model that talks to your home assistant and does things, and 16 gigs of VRAM and 70 watts is very attractive for that use case. But 48 gigs, you could run 2 of those in a system, have 4 GPUs effectively, 192 gigabytes, and total cost is going to be in the ballpark of like $2,000-3,000.
Well, we don't set the prices for our partners yet, but well, no promises, but maybe something like that. Yeah.
So that's pretty exciting that it's not tens of thousands of dollars to get 192 gigabytes of memory. So you can run those giant parameter models. So very nice, cool, thank you.
Well, thank you, Wendell.
Thank you. Now Intel, for their part, for client, when we're talking about the CPU side of things, like what's going on with the CPU side of the Intel business? Well, there's Intel 200S series refresh, which are desktop parts that will use higher bandwidth memory, and not necessarily CU DIMM, could be regular DIMM as well, 256 gigs fully qualified on their platform. I really want to see these things in the flesh. They also talked about mobile and mobile workstations and partners that are building mobile workstation laptops. But one of the things that caught my eye was SuperBuilder. This is on GitHub. You can check that out now. You can go download it now. SuperBuilder lets you use the NPU and the iGPU and then whatever else you're running for compute in order to help you build AI models to do things like retrieval augmented generation or anything like that. So check that out and let everybody know what your experiences were in the comments below, because this actually looks pretty innovative and had just dropped like on GitHub like maybe 8 hours before I saw it. And so that does actually look really promising. They demoed a fairly elaborate thing that was built with it that used the TripAdvisor API. And so you could build this sort of agentic AI, which we also saw in the GPU presentation. Like there were a bunch of GPU agents that were helping debug an issue on Lunar Lake, which is actually pretty incredible. But in this case, on the CPU side, the agent was basically acting as a travel agent, trying to find good deals on flights and hotels using the API interface. This is kind of the promise of what Web 3.0 was supposed to be. It was supposed to be an API interface, and some of the APIs existed, but then the will to build software to interface with the APIs never really happened. But now that we have AI to figure that out, maybe we'll see it. Intel also had one other demo that's kind of difficult to explain. They were playing Black Myth Wukong, but they had an AI agent running on top of it that was giving you gameplay advice. And so it was doing a little bit of analysis of what was going on the screen, but there was also a text interface where you could talk to the AI and ask it things about strategy and that sort of thing. This was running on a laptop, but it was running on the NPU and the iGPU while the game was running on the dedicated GPU. Now this was kind of light on details. With laptops, you're usually like thermal dissipation limited, power limited. And so if the CPU is doing more than running the game, then maybe you'll have a TDP limit. But in terms of computation, the NPU doing most of the compute for the AI and the iGPU doing everything else. That's going to minimize the impact on the thermal dissipation capabilities, but I'd really want to run some numbers on this to see what the performance is and how that breaks down. The Black Myth Wukong thing is a demo. There wasn't really a release date for that, but there was for GGQ, Real-Time AI Game Guide of Playing Coach. I don't know anything about this game or the platform, but they said it was coming out May 26th. So it's right around the corner. And this is something that's going to run on the NPU and the iGPU while the game is running on your dedicated GPU to give you game coaching advice. Okay. The other thing that Intel teased, but they didn't really tease because they were available for you to play with, was Panther Lake, Intel 18A. They had 2 demo systems set up with Intel 18A where you can see like the platform that they bring up 18A on. Well, Panther Lake is on the 18A process. And so this is maybe an indication that the 18A process is healthy and is going to perform well. They were also demonstrating that partner designs may actually be kind of far along on Panther Lake stuff. I mean, that's supposed to come in the end of the year, right? And then into 2026. That's kind of what the impression I get from the slides. And so these are more or less complete looking laptops, and there was also a small form factor PC, and they were demoing DaVinci Resolve, doing things like rotoscoping and that sort of stuff in minutes instead of the hours or days that it might take an operator to do manually. So, okay, neat. But yeah, Panther Lake, and they also had Panther Lake die shots, so you can see the CPUs and the close-ups, that sort of stuff. So yeah, Panther Lake, Intel 18A, but products based on this not coming for 6+ months. It is nice to get an early look though.